Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. It means it's time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, July 6, 2023. It's embargo lift day. Got a new package here from Saucony. I just got it, so I normally would like to have a review up for when an embargo lifts, but since it only arrived for me when I think it got here while I was gone in Atlanta, so I think the plus side of that is we get to unbox it together. I think you guys already know what it is. You've probably seen it all over the internet, but it's something that I've been very curious about. I'm not sure I'm going to like it, or maybe I'll like it a lot, but I have a lot of thoughts already without even having tried on the shoe. But we'll get to that in a second. First, let's say hi to everyone listening on the audio-only version on the podcast. Ooh, today was a lot nicer of a day than yesterday, both temperature-wise, air quality is better. So hopefully you're getting a lot of that too. Or maybe you're listening to this on your car ride home. Maybe you even got the windows down instead of the air conditioning blasting. That'd be nice. Hopefully you have a nice drive. That's what I'm hoping for you guys today. And for everyone watching this later but not live, welcome to, where'd it go? Welcome to the number one, Mark Peterson put it, the number one live stream for eating Chipotle in your car at the mall parking lot. Mark, I'm not really sure what's going on, but, you know, hopefully you're enjoying your Chipotle. All right, let's see who else we got in the chat here. We got Anthony Seto, who says, can't wait, Lego. And Daniel Burton says, can't wait to see what's in the box. Sean says, hey, everyone. 8 Mile fartlek today in the soup. Lost a few pounds of water weight for sure. I mean, I definitely sweat a lot today as well. I didn't even wear a shirt to even drive to where I went to run today. I just was like, I'm not even going to need a shirt. So I didn't have a shirt to the drive there. Didn't have it on. Didn't have it for the drive back. Because it was warm. It's still summertime, but it was pleasant. Hopefully things are getting better for you, Sean. And anyway, it's good to see you getting out there for 8 Mile fartlek. You know what I mean? All right. Frank's got a really good running shoe question, but I'm going to save on to that for a little bit later. But you know what? Let's just get to it now. Frank says, so what is the shoe brand of the year so far? Does the Saucony Sen 9, Primex Strong, and SL beat out the Superblast, Nova, and Metaspeed Sky Plus? Ooh, that's a good one. You know, I was recently on the Run Testers podcast. And they asked me what I was looking forward to for the rest of this year. And my answer was Adidas, because I feel like we haven't heard from Adidas on a couple of other key shoes. I don't even know if some of those are coming out later this year, so that's the thing. But, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with the Adios Pro update. I've been hearing a lot of different things that are going on. So it could be great. Could be a safe update. I'm not really sure. So that's hard. You know, it's interesting. I do think Adidas is having a really good year. I don't think that the Primex Strong, I mean, I love the Primex Strong, but I don't feel like it, to me, it's substantially different from the first Primex. I love the look of it. I feel like it's a little bit heavier of an upper. So I still like the first one, probably just as much. The Strong is very pretty though. So I do like that one. Does it beat the Superblast, the Nova Blast 3, and the Metaspeed Sky Plus? I'm not sure. That's a close one because it's hard because the Nova Blast 3, I've had it since 2 Junes ago or 2 Brooklyn half marathons ago. That's when I first got it. So I've had it for a really long time. And you guys know I like novelty a lot. So that's hard to say. And same thing with Metaspeed Sky Plus. I've been running in that shoe for a long time too, since 2 grandmas ago. That's a good one. The Adazero SL has been really good to me as well, though. So lots to talk about. I'm not sure you know what? Do I answer it? I think that Adidas has more recent offerings than ASICS had. ASICS has been but ASICS has the Nimbus 25, which I feel like was huge for the spring too, and the Magic Speed 3. So, I don't know. It's a good time for runners. I don't know if I can answer that. That's tough. Adidas, ASICS, they're both having a great year. Lou Klein says, I was just about to watch the Runners Weekend, but with a few minutes till the live stream, I can wait until later. Well, thanks, Lou. Good to see you here. All right. Luis Becerra says, yo, what's going on? I'm not sad that I didn't get selected for the London Marathon. Yeah, those went out today. I did not get selected for the London Marathon. And I don't know who's in charge of running the rejection letters for all these world marathon majors. Berlin and London, you got to get yourself together. You guys are really tone deaf. I feel like the images that you would choose to include in the rejection email are completely inappropriate. Messing with my emotions. They animated a rejection notice for the London Marathon. What is the deal with that? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. I'm taking it personally. I'm going to take it personally. Because you could have just said, sorry, no. But instead, it's like animated graphics saying like, sorry, no, you know? So like, I don't know. I'm very much annoyed by that. So Berlin, at least Berlin's last year, the rejection notices weren't animated. So there's that. Hopefully all of you guys got in though. That's what I hope. All right, let me scroll down on the bottom, make sure I catch up with you guys. Mark Peterson says, yeah, that was mean. I think so. Joe Carter says, it was brutal for me too. And Lee says, it's the animation is what got me. I agree. I'm fine. I accept that I don't get the lotteries. That's okay. It's okay. Kyle says, Co wants an RTF set in Courier New. Sorry, no. I don't know what RTF means, but like, yeah, just a basic font. Courier New is okay. I like just Arial. Make it really basic. But I have to have enough to make sure it's official. So like you need the marathon logo, like letterhead, I guess. But like just say no, thanks. Here's other things that you can do. And then save the graphics for all the fun other ways that you can pay to run the London Marathon. That's just little tweak. Yeah. The Sleeve Singer says, Runner's live stream was awesome. Will you be making one of you actually running the race like you did for Boston with the slow motion, etc.? Thanks. I had a lot of fun at that live stream live. And, like I remember sitting through it, doing it. It was like 35 minutes or so long. And then afterwards, I was like, I have no idea what I said. I have no idea what we talked about. And then I told you guys that I've been having Daniel edit the clips that I make to put into Reels and YouTube Shorts. And then I was also like pulling clips out of it for use in the Runner's Weekend video. And that reminded me that like, oh, look, we had a good time there. It was actually a fun conversation. So I felt like it was a lot of fun. So I'm glad you guys liked it too. And I thank everyone for tuning in live, and especially for the people that came all the way over to Decatur. I don't think you guys realize how close you were to having to sit in a sweaty hot box, but the air conditioning was fixed at the last possible minute. But it was fun. And yeah, so there's a video went up today for the Runner's Weekend. So there is video of me like running the race and stuff too. So that's all in there. And because it's a shorter race, I do kind of like a race video and a little bit of a race recap all in the same Runner's Weekend. So rather than having like 3 or 4 videos like I might have for a marathon, it's just be all in one. So that's what it'll be together. All right. William Wang says, what's your favorite shoe for a lactate threshold to marathon pace, but no faster workouts? There we're talking about 2, I think, of the most fun shoes. And it's related to Frank's question earlier that I dodged. And 2 that you could pick are Prime X and Super Blast. Those are really, really fun shoes to be able to run like that in. I would also say Endorphin Elite would be in that category too, because I just don't think the Endorphin Elite I don't think I want to run like a 5K in that. It's just too much shoe. And for me, that foam travels so much that it's just not as snappy. And so like those are 3 fun shoes that I think big, fun, bouncy shoes for like marathon effort. That's a good one. All right. Getting to Run said, ran a great 4-miler in the 4th and the Takumi Sen 9. Oh, I saw that. I saw that you had that ready. Getting excited about Adidas. Finally got one of the 2 pairs of the Adizero SL that I bought. You bought 2 pair? You bought 2 pair? You weren't even sure? I mean, suppose you can't really go wrong. But nice. Glad to see it. All right. Eric said, the video from ATL was fun. Concise too, with just right balance of build up, fun stuff, goofy stuff, and then race day coverage. All right, thanks. I liked that one. That was a good one. I mean, it's not an epic like Tokyo is, but I feel like it's a shorter one. It's a holiday weekend. It's for a 10K race. So I'm like, oh, I think this is the right amount. So I'm glad you guys are liking that one. I'm glad you like it. All right. PG wants to know what's in the box. All right, let's get to it. Box from Saucony. I do appreciate that they are just sending it in one box. It's not a box in a box situation. So like all the packaging labels and stuff are all just on this one box. It's a sealed box. It does make it quite obvious that you've got shoes delivered, which may bother some people, but I appreciate that it's saving on packaging cardboard and also size. So let's get to it. All right. Ooh, this is not the color that I was expecting for this one. We got the original running brand. That's a bold statement. And what we have in here is the Kinvara Pro. Look at this thing. This shoe is very big. Look at it on this side. It's kind of a Franken shoe. So like, because I feel like this upper reminds me of like Endorphin Speed or even just like an older Kinvara, especially with this kind of like baseball seaming that's going on the back of the heel. Definitely reminds me of that. And then it looks like we have a beaded TPU foam up top. And then like, I don't know, I got to check the spec sheets on this, but it looks like it's like Everrun or just regular Power Run. Do you guys remember Everrun? But it might be just regular Power Run for this giant piece that's on the outside. And then we've got some carbon fiber plate with speed roll technology inside. So rubberized EVA, no rubber on the outsole at all. That's going to trigger some people for sure. But yeah. All right. Daniel Burt wants to know, cool shoe, what is the weight? I don't know. It is lighter than it looks. So it's lighter than like a Triumph, for example. But it's still very much a big shoe. Martha says, I love the platypus analogy. Oh, interesting. Oh, Calvin said platypus shoe per Robbie. And Getting to Run says the chunky boy. Calvin says an excellent butt crack. That's kind of funny. Yeah, that's funny. And Luke Klein says, wow, what a departure from the minimalist shoe Kinvara I'd known for. Well, it is a Kinvara Pro. And here's where I'm going to talk about some of the things that I'm a little bit confused about. But then again, what's in a name? Let's leave the shoe out while we're talking about it. So this is what I remember from the discussions at the running event. And I might have been remembering it wrong, and I don't take paper notes. So this is what I recall. I remember in the discussions about the Kinvara Pro, the idea was that they don't like the fact that the Endorphin Speed is becoming like a daily trainer for a lot of people, and they want the Endorphin Speed to remain a speed day shoe. And so in order to take pressure off the Endorphin Speed and to be able to tune that to be a little bit faster, a little bit more tempo oriented, they wanted people that love the Endorphin Speed to come over to the Kinvara Pro. So this becomes a workout shoe, and this becomes more of that like high stack plated daily trainer if you're looking for something like that. Kind of like what's normally sitting here, I guess, with like in spirit, like with the Deviate Nitro, which I ran in today. So I think that's what's going on with this one, if I'm not mistaken. I think all of those things are great ideas. My only problem is that they called it the Kinvara Pro and not like a Kinvara Max or a Kinvara Plus, right? Because like you put Pro in it and there's a plate in it. So like, I guess maybe they're saying some people can race in it, but it doesn't feel to me like this is a racing shoe, not with this much of this secondary foam. that's in here that's adding to the bulk of the weight. This rubberized, I think it's EVA, rubberized EVA. I'll have to double check on my to see if I got a spec sheet or not. But shooting from the hip here. And so the Pro name is what offends me about it. Other than that, I love the idea. I love the concept. The upper looks like it's super comfortable. 8mm drop on this shoe. It says it on the inside. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I feel like it's going to be their way of kind of like carrying the Kinvara name and some of that heritage through into a more modern package. Because I wonder if then that means the Kinvara is going to go back to being even more of a speed day shoe as well, using more of like a people that prefer that low to the ground road feel kind of approach. So that's kind of like a little bit of what I see, but also what Saucony has told me from what I recall from a conversation we had 7 months ago. It might be 8 months ago at this point. So that's what I'm thinking. I know there's a lot of reviews out that are there now, but like, and they might, those people are more thorough and they've had more time with it and they may have asked follow-up questions. I just got it right now. So this is kind of what I'm thinking so far. Calvin said it should have been the Kinvara non-elite. Oh, that would have been fun. That would have been real fun. So here's the thing. Here's why I think it should have been like Kinvara Plus, because there was originally going to be a shoe called the Triumph Plus, and it was going to be like a plated Triumph with extra tall stack height with a design similar design language to what we're seeing with this, like, what is it, speed roll and the window into the carbon plate into this. Now that my understanding is that shoe eventually got scrapped as well, but then it would have been a Triumph Plus, a Kinvara Plus, right? Then it would have matched. But then I don't know if the Kinvara Pro became Pro when Triumph Plus stopped being Triumph Plus. I don't know. So who knows what's going on there. So we'll see. CB76 says, so far the reviews have been lukewarm. All right. Interesting. Calvin says, it looks like they split the Kinvara in half and shoved a power MPB and plate and called it a day. I mean, that's kind of what it looks like. It's like a mix between a Triumph and a Kinvara. But then like this does not look like a Kinvara. Top looks like Kinvara. It's like Kinvara, Triumph, and then what's this? Like a Shift? Maybe? Is that what we got here? Yeah, Adam says like A6 already has a corner on the Plus name. I wonder if like in the development they were like, we can't call it Plus. Who knows? That I would love to be able to get more information on. I just don't know that I remember we're gonna get it. You know. Yeah, and Adam says like, you know, maybe like how Brooks called the Hyperion, the new Hyperion, the Max. Well, the new Hyperion is a Max. There's still a Hyperion Tempo, but it's just Hyperion. So like, yeah. So yeah, try a Kinvara. I think a Kinvara Max would have made more sense to me. Steven76 wants to know if it's breathable. You guys, I think you guys are just trolling me now. But this is literally my breathability test. I took the paper out. Yeah, pretty breathable. At least in the toe box is nice. It's kind of like got grippy bits right here. Side is nice and breathable too. Very breathable. So like, I think this will be nice. It's not going to be like, oh, what was that shoe that was like super hard to run in? It was like the Ride ISO 1. Do you remember that one? That was a sweaty shoe. This one I think is going to be a little bit better. The tongue is nice and thin, breathable. So we'll see. I mean, I have a little bit of pause because of how much of this other foam is in here. But we'll see what it's like. I'll get it out there. I'm trying to think. I got a session tomorrow. Maybe I'll try it for that. I don't know. We'll see. Well, you guys have read some reviews, it seems like. Would that be a good shoe for running threshold repeats? Like mile repeats? You guys have to let me know. Frank says, once all the brands have greater than 40 millimeter stack height shoes, will they revise the 40 millimeter rule? I think they're going to leave the 40 millimeter rule where it is, because most of these like 40 plus millimeter stack height shoes, and I don't know if this is, it feels like it is. If it's not, it's really close. I feel like most of these shoes aren't intended for racing. And so like, I think that the only reason why I think that like there might be pressure from brands to change that rule is because I think for like the average runner, if they see a shoe that's like plus 40 and there's this so-called 40 millimeter rule, they're going to be like, oh, I'm running in like novelty shoes. I shouldn't be running in that. And they'll run in like a pair of Air Max 270s or something. You know, yeah. But like, I think that's why. So, I mean, I feel like that's why this, and I don't know this for sure, but I suspect that's a big reason why the Super Comp trainer went to under 40 millimeters for year 2, or that was an effort to get it there, is because like it being like 48 millimeters of stack height, while exciting for people like me and everyone kind of here, I think for the average consumer, they're like, oh, that's the cheater shoe or something like that. It's going to like throw them off. And so that's what I think is the only reason why they might change that. So, Jairus Royo says, would you still reach for the No Best 3 for a daily trainer? Just someone on the sale for $105 on Woot. I've never bought on Woot. I don't know if that's a reliable seller, but yeah, it's a good shoe for $105. I think it was $130 or was it $140 at retail? I mean, I love it at that price too. Serious Ron wants to know, how will the BAA react if people BQ in a 40 plus millimeter stack height shoe? I think that they'll react in the same way that they react when people BQ in a downhill course. That's kind of how I see it. They'll be like, we will accept your time, but put an asterisk on your bib. I think that's how they're going to treat it. All right, Adam, coming in with the track news. USA's start tonight. Finals are men's discus, women's triple, and javelin, and both 10,000 meters. The rest tonight are rounds. Yeah, I was listening to Kara Goucher and Des Linden's podcast on it. They had a really good breakdown, an entertaining breakdown of the middle distance to distance events, which I thought was interesting to see. So, Adam, do you know how to watch that? How do I watch the USAs? Is it on TV? Is it on NBC? I don't know. I know that the 10,000 meters isn't going to be broadcast. I don't think it is. I don't think the broadcast starts today for TV though. It's weird. Martha says, how will the BAA know if people will BQ in any particular shoe? Martha, the BAA has ways. The BAA is everywhere. They're everywhere and nowhere, Martha. That's how they will know. Lou says USA's will be on and CNBC tonight at 10 p.m. Okay. All right. Nice. Kyle says, does the BAA know if I use Heelys? The BAA won't know, but I think they're going to rely on the race that you run it in to disqualify you if you run in Heelys. You know what I mean? And Sean says your name gets put in a database when you buy 40 millimeter plus that kind of shoe. And Super Engine says the BAA knows what shoes you will race in before you do. Oh, it's funny. Yeah. Awesome, guys. You guys are so funny. Let's see. Jeremy Cahill says the BAA will use image recognition to identify your shoes on the course. You guys are funny. Martha wants to know if the BAA has lasers. I'm sure they do. Alex Herman says, for future purposes, I love the BAA. Nice. There's, you never hurts to say it a couple extra times, even if you don't think they're listening. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. It looks like everyone here. No, I think I saw one or two people said that they got in, but I think the only people that got into London in the chat today, that got into the London Marathon are UK residents. I think everyone else did not make it in. Everyone that's not in the UK for this. To follow up from yesterday's, though, unboxing, after my run today, I had the rest of that Dawalter Tailwind in the car, and it was delightful after a sweaty run. And then when I got back home, I had the rest of that salted caramel recovery drink, and it was super good. Highly recommend. I'm really wondering if there's a way that I can turn that salted caramel Tailwind into ice cream, because I feel like that flavor would be really nice, because it's got like a milky flavor with a little bit of brown sugar or toffee kind of at the end, at the finish, Martha, So that's why I feel like it would just make a really great ice cream flavor. Calvin has a question that says, does FOD runner have to stay below 40 millimeters too? Likewise, would a size 5 Prime X be below 40 millimeters? I think for the first answer, it's yes. I think that it doesn't, like, because as certain sizes of shoes that may be legal for like the way we consider shoes to be race legal, if you get above like a size 10, it gets bigger. But I don't know how much smaller they get. It's not like every size is like proportionately bigger stack height. So I feel like I don't know what the cutoffs would be, and I'm assuming it's going to be different depending on shoes, but I'm sure there's like a general idea. But I'm guessing like between like size 11 and 12, there might be a very big difference in terms of like the amount of relative cushion that you feel in a shoe. So maybe it's like sizes 8 through 10 or something, or 8 through 11 have like 40 millimeter stack height, and maybe size 12 through 14 or whatever might have like 45, just to make it proportionally like the same. And I don't know if all shoes do that, but I do know that some shoes do that. Then I don't know how much smaller they get, but I think that like that's why you have to like if this rule applies to you, you have to submit your equipment for testing. And I don't know, I think it's kind of like the parking lot at a commuter train station. They put like chalk mark on. I'm sure it's not chalk, but they mark it somehow to confirm that the shoe that you presented before the race is the shoe that you actually raced in. So like after the race, they inspect your shoe in these big races where they actually care about the 40 millimeter limit. So it will depend. So you can't just say, yeah, I'm running in Vaporflies, I'm okay. You still have to present it, because number one, they want to make sure you didn't tinker with it. But also they want to be able to like check depending on whatever your shoe size is. Again, that's my understanding of it. Rachel Klug says, I've been trying to get into running for a long time, but every time I start, I get injured. I got new shoes and my right calf and lower back are killing me. Any advice? Yeah, I'm sorry to hear it that's happening to you, Rachel, but my advice would be to take it slower. And I don't know what your running is like, but I think that when you're trying to get into running, the most important thing that you need for not only for your body to get used to, but also your schedule to get used to, is the habit of running. And so it seems like for you, like your body getting used to the running, it seems to be the tougher part. But like, I would do no more than like every other day in the beginning, and it should feel easy every time. You should feel like, oh, I could have done more by the time you're done. And so for me, a lot of people, I recommend starting off with walking and jogging kind of intervals, as little as like 1 minute on, 1 minute off, or 5 minutes on, 1 minute off from jogging and walking, taking it really nice and focus on amount of time rather than a distance. And so in the beginning, I would say like every other day, 30 minutes of movement whatever mixture of running and walking you want to do. Once you do that for like, 3 or 4 times, then make it 40 minutes. And then maybe you could tweak how much you're running versus walking. And just let your body like catch up. Different parts of your body will catch up and like adapt faster than others. And so like maybe your lungs are really quick to adapt and you can feel like you keep going, but parts of your body might not be able to keep up with you. So like those are some things that I would kind of like let all the different systems of your body catch up at the same time. And so ease into it every other day. Always make sure you're leaving a lot left in the tank when you're done. And then the last thing that I would say is, if you know that there are certain areas, if there are certain areas that you always have problems with whenever you try to pick up running again, there might be something going on with your body where like, maybe you're really tight in your hip or something like that, and that affects you in the knee kind of thing. Or maybe you're tight in the knee and that affects your calf, So like, I would work on trying to figure out kind of like a little bit of a kind of a stretching or a mobility routine. And there's a lot of people on the internet that can help you with that, like a pre-run, they call it activations, and do something like that. And that can help. So that way you kind of like get your body primed and ready to run. So that way it's as limber as it needs to be to run naturally in that repetitive motion of running. So that way it doesn't kind of like lead to kind of a repetitive use type of injury or discomfort. Hopefully that makes sense. And Austin says, if the pattern continues and you happen to have the means to do so, seeing a physical therapist may help and sort the puzzle out with you. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Daniel Burton also says, change the shoes. It also could be the shoes too. That's also very true. For me, usually I like the first thing I change is the shoes, but I understand like for people that are trying to get into it, you don't want to go out and buy 5 or 6 pairs. But if you bought it from like a running store, sometimes they will let you within a certain number of days switch it out for a different pair because they ultimately want you to be happy, because a happy runner is one that's going to keep coming back to buy more and more shoes. So a good running store isn't worried about making money on this one transaction. They want to help you turn into a runner so you have many transactions. Brayson Hewis says, are there anything in the current Saucony running lineup that provides a pretty similar sensation to the Nova Blast 3 Squish? I think probably the closest is going to be the Endorphin Speed 3, or maybe the Endorphin Speed 2. I prefer the 2 over the 3. The 3 was really good, but it doesn't squish. It's a little bit firmer to me, and it gave my foot a little bit of problems. But a lot of people really love that shoe. But those are like the 3 and the 2 for the Endorphin Speed are the ones that I would look at. All right. Let's see. There was a question about... Oh, Lou's got a question. With ASICs, are they discontinuing the Glide Ride? I've been on a one-man mission to say... I don't know if it's a one-man mission, but I've been in discussions with them because they were like... it's not like they called me up. We had discussions in Eugene because a lot of the execs were there. And they were like... So we ended up sitting down and have like a conversation. And they were like, why do you like the Glide Ride 3 so much? I'm like, it's such a good shoe. And I spent like 10 minutes like talking about how good it is. And I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks. Because I had heard the similar rumor that they were discontinuing it. Since that conversation, I've followed up and saying, are we going to get more Glide Rides? So far, the only answer that I have is there will be more colors of Glide Ride coming all the way through this summer. And that's as far as that they will comment on it. So that's as far as I know. So I would say if the Glide Ride 3, it works for you and you love it, buy some more. Especially if you've tried the Nimbus 25 and that does not check off the same box that the Glide Ride does, because they are different shoes. They're both squishy. I use them kind of similarly, but they have very different sensations. I would say my recommendation really, if you love the Glide Ride, buy them when you can see them. I have not heard definitively one way or another, but as far as I've heard, summer will be that there will be more colors this summer. I have no idea what's going to happen after that. No one has said anything. Nicholas Holland says, oddly, I love the awkward silence and Co's humming as he looks for a new comment he likes. I'm glad you like that because I think that there's a lot of them. And I always wonder for people that listen on the audio only version, you guys are going to have to message me or something. How annoying is that for you? Like, is it awkward when there's this like dead air? That's why I hum or I might mumble to myself because I don't want you to feel like something happened to the live stream that you're listening to while you're running. All right. Adam's saying, you know what? He had another good run in the Sinister last night. You got to try it. Okay. I'll see if they can send me one. Otherwise, I'll go out and buy one. I do have another. Oh, yeah. Now that this is. The email was vague. I don't know if they said that once the embargo lifts on the Kinvara Pro, or maybe it's once the Kinvara Pro goes on sale, they would send me a pair of the Triumph RFG, the Run for Good, which is the eco version. I'm really curious about that. I'm hoping that that one's really nice. I have high hopes for it because I like the Triumph 20 a lot. And they said that the eco version isn't as good as the regular version, but it is eco-friendly. So like, I'm really hoping that that's a good one. And then that Sinister, it's an interesting shoe, but, and you know, I do think that after running Peachtree that I'm starting to really like 10Ks. So like having a shoe like Sinister might be a 10K racing option or a 10K trainer option, you know? So, so that might make a lot more sense. All right. I'm going to have to, I'll send an email. Cobalt Blue says, did you see the women's pro finish in Atlanta? Drew sent me, I hadn't, and then Drew sent me a link for the finish, and I had no idea that there was a last minute wrong turn. It's, oh, man, that's like heartbreaking because, I mean, they're coming fast. They're flying down the hill because it is a big downhill finish. I think maybe Falmouth's downhill finish might be a little bit steeper, maybe a little bit, but it's like that level of like really fun downhill. And so people really come down it fast. And that women's pro finish was very fast. And what happened was the motorbike turned off at the last minute. The finish of Peachtree is like, it's like almost, it's more than a mile long. You make a left turn off of Peachtree to, I think it's 10th or something like that. And it's like a mile long from there. And then you could see the finish line from about a half mile out based on, there's like a little dip and then you go downhill some more. So once you come over that dip, you can see the finish from there. I felt like you could see the finish from where that police escort turned off. But then like when it turned off, the lead runner, I don't know who it was, turned off the course as well. And there was only like 200 meters left or maybe 400 meters left in the race. So like she was being chased. Someone was like 2 strides behind her. And so then like second and third place, boom, kept going straight because they saw the finish. And oh man, because it's not even like there was a turn in the road at that point. It was just like a getting off of the course. I feel like, I don't know what you can do as Atlanta Track Club to prevent that from happening. Yeah, Kyle said it was no one's fault but bad circumstances. Yeah, and Kyle says it probably would have helped to have a volunteer in front of that street. Maybe. But I just feel like at that point, you could see the finish, you know? But also at that point, you've been running in like borderline dangerous for a professional runner to be running conditions, like 70-something degrees, 99% humidity on a hot and hilly course. You know, like I'm sure she was just thinking, just follow the bike, let the bike pace you kind of thing. And then when she saw it turn, she'd probably just like, you know, you just get, you know, when you're oxygen deprived, your field of vision shrinks. So I'm sure she must have just not even seen the finish line from that point. But like at the same time, I'm like, did she not do course recon? I don't know. It's just so hard. Man. All right. Sean says, what's the Peachtree prize money like? First dibs on post-race speeches. No, I feel like it was 10 grand for the winner. I think they went up to 7 or 8 places. So, I mean, it's not huge, but I also don't know what like the biggest 10K races pay out. And I don't know if Atlanta Tri Club pays appearance fees. But like the field was stacked. So like, yeah, Chad Mangano, some Barry Teferi. You had a lot of really fast women's runners. Like people with like their PRs in the 30 minutes range. So that tells me that there has to be some sort of like appearance fee, but like the winning was like 10 grand, I think. I think 10 grand for winning. Daniel Burton says she would have set the course record. Oh man, now that hurts because that would have been a bonus too, I imagine. Eric says the winner gets millions of peaches. There were so many peaches. It was lovely to see. It was really cool. I love peaches. Peaches are my favorite, especially when you get I know like when you get not the cling fruit, when the stone just pops out, that variety of peach. Oh man, that's just so good. And Frank says, if you can see the finish, it isn't really the lead bike's fault. I don't think it was the lead bike's fault. I just feel like it was a racer was like delirious and just followed the bike. It just stinks. It stinks. Lori first says, great vid on the Runners Week in Atlanta. What would be your pick for a racing shoe for a flat half? Oh, thank you so much, Lori. For a flat half marathon, there's a lot of shoes that I really enjoy for the half marathon distance. I think half marathons are underrated. I would like to race some more of them in the near future, along with 10Ks. I don't know. I'm kind of hooked. But let's see. Right now, of the shoes, I recently reviewed the Cloud Boom Echo 3. I feel like that's a pricey shoe, but I feel like that one is like very good for a half marathon. Also in that category, we were like Rocket X2. Endorphin Pro 2 was one that I also really like for the half marathon distance. And then pretty much any shoe that I like for the marathon distance, I usually like for the half marathon distance too. So like Metaspeed Sky Plus is my favorite marathon shoe. I feel like that would make a really great half marathon shoe, especially because that one's very light. Adios Pro 3 would work really well in there for that half marathon distance too. So I go for something that's a little bit firmer than I might prefer for a full marathon. But like if you've got a marathon shoe that you love, I feel like it can definitely work for the half marathon. Haley Thornton says like, it's got to be runner brain to the max. I bet she couldn't have added 2+2 at the time. There was a volunteer there screaming at her not to turn. Oh, there was a volunteer. I thought so. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Cobalt Blue said it was like $10,000 for first and $3,000 for third. Oh, that's a big drop off. Lori says she was the past winner of the Peachtree Road Race, and this was her second year too. Oh yeah, she was just delirious. Man. They're really throwing them. Freestone peaches. I like freestone peaches. Those are the best. The ones that clings to the stone, those are just frustrating and messy. Although they tend to ripen up really nicely. But I don't mind a little bit of crunch or a little bit crispiness to my peaches. I just don't like I like when the pit just falls right out. It's nice. Joe Carter says, I'm on a mango kick right now. Vanessa Martinez says, I like the white flesh peaches and donut peaches. Both very good choices, but also kind of the same flavor, right? So, yeah, there you go. It's good. Good. PJ says, oh, okay, I'm actually going to get out on this run that I had to put off earlier for a meeting. I mean, you're thinking about running here. We're talking about running. So, I mean, I feel like that's pretty good. JMac1313 says, hey, if you come back for a Peachtree and the Braves are at home, I'll treat you to a game. I would love that. I would love that. I didn't know that the Braves had moved from their downtown stadium up to, where are they at? Are they at Marietta now? Alpharetta? I didn't know that they had moved. So I feel like that would be fun to go check out. Richard Wilson says, the best peach I ever had was Gold Dust. Sadly, it's impossible to find out because it's not freestone and doesn't ship well. It bruises. That was in the 70s. Richard, now I'm on a mission. I hope maybe I can find some gold. Maybe there's some in Atlanta, in Georgia. Do you think? Steve Arnberg says, it looks like the new Hyperion, or the Hyperion Tempo replacement, is out. I haven't seen reviews, but it's slightly heavier and much more boring looking. That's interesting. I thought it was supposed to be a non-update. Basically just new colors. That's interesting. I wasn't going to review it. Maybe I need to take a look at it now. Interesting. Sean Devlin says, this is great Peach Talk, guys. It's the #1 running podcast for Peach Talk. That's so funny. All right, guys. I think that's going to be a good place to leave it for today. I've had plenty of Peach Talk. Now I'm going to go have some fruit. But also, my kids finally have got into Super Smash Brothers. So, I promised them we'd play for a little bit after a live stream today. So they're upstairs waiting for me. So I'm going to have some fun playing some video games with my kids in a little bit here. And that's going to be it. Tomorrow, there won't be a video, and we will have a live stream. I don't think we're going to have a guest. I'm just really tired, and it takes a lot of effort. And I got a lot of other things on my to-do list I got to work on. We talked about it yesterday. You guys know what it is. So I'm going to do that. Until I see you tomorrow's live stream, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.